Hi everyone, welcome to Facebook Live. I'm Kathy Dixon and this is Beat the Boar exercise for your back and core. Today our tip of the day is we are going to work on our side plank. So in order to do that, side planking can get a little bit more challenging than planking on the floor. So if you wanted to move into an area where you have a sturdy countertop, maybe like a long dresser, like one of the short long dressers, or even sometimes the armrest of a sturdy chair or the couch, just by bringing your body from the floor into a vertical or diagonally pitched position, it can help decrease some of the forces of gravity and your body weight, so it makes it a little bit easier to get in the right position. So I'm going to show you both ways of how to do that today. So first, we're going to go backwards. We're going to do just a little bit of an active warm-up in standing and kneeling, and then we're going to move to our floor exercises, and then we'll finish with the side plank. If you have dumbbells, you may just want to grab one dumbbell or one kettlebell. We're just going to use it to kind of get a little overflow to activate our core today. So first we're going to start with the half kneeling rotations. I'm going to grab my 10-pound dumbbell. If you have a kettlebell and not a dumbbell, you can hold the kettlebell, I call it by the horns. You grab on both sides. You keep your shoulder blades wrapped around flat on the back of your rib cage, and your elbows are nice at your sides. So I'm holding the weight kind of with that armpit muscle that we talked about in planking, and not in my neck or my chest. All right, so I'm going to take my dumbbell, because most people have a dumbbell at home. Same thing, I'm just going to hold it on the side. My elbows are tucked in, pointing towards the floor. My shoulder blades are engaged behind me. My knees in that 90-degree bend. And I'm just going to rotate by opening my pelvis, turning my shoulders, back to center, closing my pelvis, turning my shoulders. My front knee should be staying straight, pointing directly over my toes. If it's not, feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. And make sure as you're rotating to that open side, you're not lunging forward, okay? You're staying anchored between both of your legs. Your belly's nice and tight as you rotate, and your ribs are down. Just by adding the weight in our hands here, you're getting just a little bit of overflow to help you engage that lower belly muscle and those shoulder blade stabilizers. We're going to do 2 more to each side. Make sure your pelvis rotates. Here comes Nike. He does not like that you guys are getting all of my attention. All right, so go ahead and switch your feet. Nike, say hi to the camera. Hold your weight, and we're going to go ahead into our rotations. So pelvis, then shoulders, back to center. Pelvis, then shoulders, back to center. Keep going here, pelvis and shoulders. Remember that front knee stays straight. This way I'm getting a stretch through my spine, a stretch through my hip, and I'm activating my core. Remember, when I rotate, I'm thinking of my spine like a barber's pole, spinning on that vertical axis. I'm not bending backwards, and as I rotate, I'm not side bending either. Okay, so I'm nice and straight, and I'm rotating. We're going to do 1 more to each side. So this is an active warm-up. So we're getting loose by moving instead of just statically holding. Okay, the next one, we're going to go up into standing position. We worked on the drop lunge the other day, so just a refresher, your feet are here, you're going to take a big step back, that knee goes straight to the floor, front knee stays straight, and then I come back up and step together. From the side, I take a big step back, I drop straight down, I'm not lunging forward, drop straight down, tap my knee, drive through my front heel to stand back up tall. I'm going to incorporate my weight again in that front rack type position, okay? This way, again, I'm just getting a little overflow into my abs. If you want, you can just do it with your arms at your side. So I'll give you the side view, a big step back. We're going to drop, come back up into standing, and switch your legs. So we're gonna alternate between the right and the left. As you do this, I want you to make sure that you concentrate on keeping the weight in your front heel. So my front heel drives into the floor. That way I know I'm using my glutes to drive me into the straight leg position. My belly's tight, my ribs are down. And then from a front position, I'm making sure that that knee stays straight over my toes. Okay, the knee is not collapsing inward or kind of cowboying out to the side. I'm gonna keep going here. We're gonna do about, 5 more. I want you to just focus back in on that lower belly. Make sure your shoulder blades are flat on the back of your rib cage, and then you firm that lower belly button. I'm out of breath. It's a good active warm-up. Good. One more on each side. Make sure that you're not shrugging through your shoulders with this, and your shoulder blades are back so your chest is relaxed. Okay, and then we're gonna go into our last kind of active warm-up and standing is the skater march, I call it, but it's the squat and weight shift, tap back behind you, drag up into a march. Back to the floor, other side, weight shift behind you, tap back, drive up. So we can add our arms in. They call them arm drivers as we do this one. In your march position, your opposite arm is in this like 90-degree bend. Okay, so then as I go back, I'm gonna drive that opposite arm back, and then I come back into a march. So let's stick with the same leg. So we're gonna go down, weight shift, we'll tap back. In your tap back position, put your opposite arm, so your front knee, this is my right knee, my left arm is bent in front of me, and then as I drive up into my march, my left knee comes forward, my right hand is bent. So we're just gonna tap back and drive up. This is a little bit harder for your balance, okay? If you don't feel comfortable here, feel free to keep alternating from side to side. So squat, weight shift, tap back, march, switch legs, and do it on the opposite side. Or you can try to challenge your balance a little bit here and do the arm drivers repeating on the same side. See, I'm wobbling all over as I come up into my march. It's because I stopped paying attention to my belly. So your belly is what keeps you tight. So let's go to the other side now. We're gonna go, it's my left. So we'll go to the left. I'm gonna tap back. My left leg is forward. My right arm is bent ahead. I'm gonna drive up, bring my left arm forward, my right leg into a march. And back down. And I'm gonna keep going here. Again, my focus is my weight is on my front leg heel. Okay, so I'm driving through the glutes. I'm firming the belly so that I don't get any type of rotation through my trunk. Okay, and if I just gave you the side view, we're here. And the arm drivers, they just kind of help keep you in balance as you're going through the movement more. Good. Okay, so that was our warm-up, our active warm-up. Now we're going to go on the floor. I'm going to plan to stick with a single leg bridge today, no weights. And then we're going to do the belly tight with the legs moving, with our arms moving as well. So that's going to be the add-on. And then we're going to go into hands and knees to do the diagonal reaches. So we're trying to get some diagonal patterns going today before we get into our side plank. So on the floor, I'm going to go right into my single leg bridge. So I'm going to lift one leg, this heel's in the floor, and I'm just going to drive and lower. Remember, my body lifts as a board from my shoulders to my hips. I'm using my glutes to lift myself up in the air. I'm using my belly muscles to make sure that those hips don't wiggle side to side. We're going to do 5 more here. One more. And we'll switch legs. Remember, you're driving your heel down and away from you, keeping the non-moving leg, keeping that knee straight up in the air. As I lift and I lower, I'm going to guess this is about 5, so we'll do 5 more. like he's done with us. He decided to go upstairs and take another nap. 2 more. Okay, so we're going to go into our dead bug or belly tight marches. So we've been doing lots of variations of straight legs up in the air, legs straight on the floor. Today I'd like everybody to kind of work with me getting into the both leg up position. Okay, we'll put our hands straight up to the ceiling. Remember our ball and sockets of our shoulder are resting on the floor. I'm not crunching through my chest. And then as we do this, we're going to do opposites. So my left leg and my right arm are going to be the movers. Okay, so my left leg is going to extend as my right arm goes back. And then they both come back to the starting position. I'm going to switch sides. So my left arm goes back, my right arm goes down, my right leg goes down, and I come back into the starting position. Sometimes in the clinic, if we have a big physio ball, an exercise ball, we put that here. So it kind of gives you your target to come back to. We don't probably have that at home, so just use your imagination. So everybody, let's set our belly. We're going to inhale, exhale, and drop our ribs. Pull your lower belly button down. You're going to lift one leg, then the other. Remember, your back doesn't arch. You're going to lower your leg and your arm and back in. And we're just going to switch between sides. Don't let your back arch. As soon as we're done with this exercise, we're basically going to do the same thing from a tabletop position. So we're going to kind of work the same muscle group from 2 different places. Again, you say, Kathy, why are we doing these things? Because we're trying to create a rotational challenge that our core is fighting, which is how we make our core stronger. So we fight that rotation to protect our back and to strengthen our core. I have no idea what number we're on. So we're going to do, after this one, 3 more on each side. If you're feeling a little bit of tightness in the front of your thigh or in your hip flexor, I want you just to open your knee and move it, like just kind of turn it out towards the outside of your shoulder a little bit. Sometimes that can help release that pressure or strain. And I'm going to guess that was probably 3 more on each side. Okay, so really important that you kept the belly tight as you created a long line between opposite sides of your body. So if we go over into our hands and knees, again, I'm going to roll my mat up to protect my wrist. We've been repainting the basement in our evening time, so now my arms are tired from that. So we're here, I've got the heel of my hands on my rolled mat. I'm in a tabletop position. Remember, hips over knees, hands under shoulders, tailbones lifted, not curled. Shoulder blades are moved in towards your spine and flat on the back of your rib cage. So I'm going to kick one leg back as if I'm standing on the wall behind me, and then reach the opposite arm forward. I'm going to come in and tap my elbow to my knee. Notice I lose that straight line in my back, but I'm going to reach back out and find that perfect position and come back to the floor. Okay, again, I'm going to kick my leg and reach my opposite arm. My back is nice and straight. I'm going to bring that elbow to my knee for a tap, and then I'm going to reach back out into that perfect form. Okay, so the whole idea is I look awesome, I look like garbage, and then I go back and look awesome again. Okay, nice straight line. I'm not reaching the leg up to the ceiling. I'm just reaching the leg back as if I'm standing on the wall behind me. Same thing with my hand. I'm just reaching straight ahead, not up to the ceiling. So I'm going to stop talking so I can concentrate on keeping my ribs closed and my lower belly engaged, so I don't get this arching as I reach back out. I'm going to do 2 more on each side. I feel like I have the heat on in here today. Yesterday was beautiful though. Got to open all the windows. And 1 more on this side. Okay, so I'm going to take us in standing first for the plank. So I'm just going to do the plank and the side plank together. I'm going to start in standing, leaning on the countertop. So you can follow along with me there, or you can do it on the floor. After I do a set on the countertop, I am then going to move to the floor and show you how to do it on the floor. That way everybody has an option that's safe for them. So don't worry, my countertops aren't usually this clean. I just clean them for you guys. So I'm gonna set the camera up here like this. So I'm just at my countertop, okay? I wanna set my shoulder blades before I step back into my plank, or I can get into a plank position and then set my shoulder blades. But those shoulder blades are still really important. I don't wanna be scrunched in my neck or using my front chest muscles to hold me up. I want to move those shoulder blades in towards my spine so they're flat on my rib cage, and I still want to push from my armpit through my elbow, through the heel of my hand. So I feel like I'm holding myself up right here at the side of my shoulder blade and my armpit. Okay, my heels can be on the floor. I can be lifted off my heels onto my toes. It doesn't matter to me. And then just make sure your butt's not in what I call the jackknife trailer position. Okay, so your shoulders, your hips, and your ankles create a nice straight line. You don't want to be here either, sagging through the front. You should feel an even balance of your belly muscles and your back muscles working to hold you in the plank position. Right, so once we're in the plank position, to get into your side plank, some people will twist and keep their feet kind of staggered. So kind of like staggered like that. I prefer to bring my feet together and have them both twist so they're stacked. Okay? So you can do either one. Some people just twist and they have like a staggered foot position. I like to just bring my feet together and twist. Your hand, as you move into a side plank, I think of it as like rowing a lawnmower. So you know how you get down and you pull the lawnmower chain? So in this position, as my hips rotate with my feet, kind of pulling that lawnmower chain so my arm comes across my chest and out into a T this way. Okay? So those are the moving parts. The important part is what the non-moving arm is doing. So you want to make sure that you have that muscle engaged in your armpit. Kind of think of it as a fulcrum. As I twist, my body is a flat board, hopefully a 2x4, right? I'm twisting my hips and my shoulders as if I'm a board, okay? I'm pushing from my fulcrum or my armpit through the heel of that non-moving hand. Okay, so that's where I'm getting my power. And then what I want to think about from my hips is I want my ribs, I want to imagine them being symmetrical on both sides. So I don't want one side lifted and one closed or vice versa. By thinking about the position of my rib cage, I automatically correct the position of my hips and then engage my core into this T position. Okay, as I come back down into the plank, I'm going to bend my elbow and I'm kind of going to shoot back to the counter as I twist my body like a board. Okay, if you have a hard time going into the twist, you can just kind of start in the side plank, find the even rib position, shoulders are back, belly's tight, opposite arm is reaching into a T. Okay, so if I were to do it again from the plank, we're in the plank, my shoulders are on, my belly's tight, I'm going to do the lawnmower chain and rotate. I'm going to think about my rib cages being even, hold my side plank, and then I'm going to rotate back into the plank position, and then I'm going to do the same thing to the opposite side, okay? The idea is as you get stronger in your core, you don't have to correct your rib position in the side plank. You're basically engaging your core in the plank, holding it as you rotate and go into your side plank. Super important as you move into your side plank that the non-moving shoulder doesn't kind of rotate inward and pitch in on the front of your shoulder. You want to make sure that that shoulder blade stays flat on your rib cage so you feel the back of your shoulder working as you move into your side plank. Okay, so that's the plank here. You can always do your planking exercises here as well. If this is a more comfortable position for you, you could do the rows. Okay, it's just a little bit easier, but you're still working the same muscle group. So if I were then to take the plank to side plank to the floor, it's the same idea. And feel free if you want to try the floor as well and then decide what's the best position for you. I'm going to start in my tabletop, get my shoulder blades set, go into my plank position. I'm going to bring my feet together, okay, because again, I like them to be stacked. Now I'm going to drive through the heel of that non-moving hand, do the lawnmower pull with my arm, and come up into a T. In my side plank, I'm thinking, are my ribs symmetrical? Is my shoulder blade flat on my rib cage? Am I engaged from my armpit? Yes, I am. I'm quivering all over. I'm gonna rotate back, okay? Notice I didn't do hips and then shoulders, because that hurts my shoulder, all right? I'm doing hips and shoulders rotate together as I do the lawnmower pull, and I hold and come back to the floor, and then I'm gonna rotate and go to the opposite side. Whenever I go on my right arm, I really want that ball and socket of my shoulder to pitch forward into my chest, so I have to think extra hard to engage the back of my shoulder blade to hold myself up in the T position. Okay, so that's your plank to side plank. It's a great exercise for your posture as well as your core, because the two go hand in hand. We have a little bit of time left just towards the end, so I'm just going to talk about a cool thing you can do coming out of your plank series. So it's just lowering to the ground. So I call it a reverse plank, for lack of a better word. But I'm in my plank position, and I want to lower my body to the floor as if I'm flat as a board. Okay? Couple of things have to happen here. Side note, this is a great exercise if you have a hard time with like a push-up or a tricep push-up. It's a great exercise to work on the exercise in a reverse technique to get yourself stronger so that you can push up from the floor. As you lower down, we're not in an elbow out position. Okay, we're more in this tricep. Elbows are tucked right at the side of my body. All right, so I'm in my plank, and as I lower down, my elbow is literally brushing right along the side of my trunk to bring me down. What that does is it allows my shoulder blades to move in towards my spine into a pinch that way, instead of what happens is people get halfway down, their shoulder blades, they lose control and they shrug up towards their ears. So you really have to concentrate from halfway down to the floor, keeping those shoulder blades down towards, in towards your spine and down towards your butt, okay? So if we go back into our plank, to lower down, I'm gonna brace my belly, concentrate on the heel of my hands and my shoulder blades. My elbows are now brushing the side of my trunk. Here's where it gets really hard, and go to the floor. Notice I didn't go belly and then chest. So the whole idea is you're taking your plank from a raised position and lowering it to the floor. So I'll show you the sequence on the floor, and then I'll show you the sequence on the countertop, and then I'm probably gonna sign off for the day. So you're in your plank. Okay, feet together, you go into your side plank, hold however long you want. You're gonna come back into your front plank, side plank to the other side, hold however long you want. Come back to your front plank position. I'm gonna find my shoulder blades in my armpit, tighten my belly. I'm gonna let those elbows brush by my trunk and fall to the floor. Okay, so that's a nice little plank series you can do to work your posture, your core, and protect your back. So if I'm going to show you on the countertop position, because you can do it here as well. I'm just going to bring that down a second. So I'm going to go into my plank. I'm going to go into my side plank, back down, into my side plank, back down. So in this position, I'm basically doing a tricep push-up. So this is a great place to practice if you want to practice your tricep push-up up and down, or you can come in, just lower down, and then step out. Okay? So that was Beat the Boar exercises for your back and core today. I hope you had fun. I definitely broke a sweat during that. So thanks for joining. We're on Facebook Live again at 2 p.m. today. So hopefully you can join us, and I'll be back with the Beat the Boar Monday at 2. As always, we're thrilled to provide this service for free, but if you'd like to make a donation, it goes directly to the Action Potential team during these crazy times. So hopefully I'll see you again later today and maybe next week. Take care.